Vai tomar com gelado, puta merda. Pô, caralho, nem vi.
K-Dude goes down as a launch pad again. Sorry, that got ridiculous. But the late game launch pads, they lose value because the more time you spend in the air, the more opportunities other players have to take shots at you as the storm starts to close. Spades sharing the wall with another player, gotta be careful. Gotta box up and keep on rolling.
You could be cheeky with the launch pads too, utilizing that ramp to just give you like that forward momentum instead.
All right, I propose a challenge to anybody out there.
Ooh.
You set up a launch pad with the angle that shoots an opponent player into a box filled with your own traps. I will PayPal you $50 because that would be ridiculous.
There you
Imagine
go.
just whoosh, right in.
Like they go flying, they hold forward, and they're like, wait, that's a box.
Geez,
Oh,
last
no.
second.
That was
Barely made it in. 3 HP. Got to stay just ahead of the storm.
Anyone could just breathe in his direction.
This is one of those moments
Oh, no.
where you're thinking,
Okay.
I need to find a spot that
Or
I
a
can
Siphon.
sit and watch for an Elim. This might be the one. The campfire is what gives it away right now. Spades deciding to push forward, rotate around to the bottom. A shot behind the corner at it. Not enough. And 8 finds them down underneath. Big attempt from Spades. 3 seconds to squeak it in. 50 points right now for Spades. We're the top 25 now. Hornet all the way in the ultimate high ground, it looks like. Took it with a baller, which you don't see too often. Kind of a risky play unless you have something like a Shadow Bomb, which Hornet does have. Drop it down, stand inside the safe zone. Takes a lot of ticks at the Storm, and that's the time for a Slurp.
Yeah.
Big value Slurp.
Big value Slurp, but don't forget, it does take quite a while. It's 1 HP a second. He's got a long time before he's back in fighting condition. Someone does go for the high ground challenge.
You have a player up above, and you still have one falling in, which you can hear that.
Yeah. I think that's what the player. So this player above Hornet knows that Hornet's down below, but like you said, he heard the glider redeploy. It's a very distinct sound. He's probably just trying to keep himself safe. Hornet's trying to get aggressive here. He wants his elimination. Okay.
Big play.
All right.
Smart play there.
That's good.
At that point, he was getting beamed, shot at from above. He was potentially challenging a player that he was not going to be able to beat. Player behind gets caught in their own edit, goes for the pyramid play and can't get Hornet. Instead, Gal pays the price themselves. Get up that first elimination. 14 players left from the top 15 now for that second placements.
Oh, God.
Inside a box. Finds a player inside. CWV goes down. One more push. Rotation on the outside. Poach in your feed. Eliminated as well.
Oh, there's players all around Lupo.
Right underneath another player. They're holding it down. Trying to reset the ramp underneath. Can't get it 3 times. Going to have to melee their way through.
Oh.
Very tense situation here. Smacked in your feed. Picking up an Elim. We're down to the top 9. Hornet on 36.
Oh, my
86
God.
HP. 3 Elims now for Hornet. A big reactive shot there to stay in this game. A chance for minis. Has 2 ARs. Not a big deal there, but the combat shotgun going to come in big late game. Looking for headshots. Looking for angles from underneath. Hornet pushing forward, 66 builds left. Severe, the ultimate high ground. Players sandwiched in the middle. You hate to see somebody go down and not make it to the top 5, but here it is as the last set of placement points go out for everybody left alive. Severe, Shadow, Nick Cool, Midas, and Hornet, the ultimate low ground. Trying to pop a med kit there. Going to be able to get it off. Going to have to push through this wall. But stay inside. Last second. That might be enough. Coming in from underneath, you see Shadow in the ultimate high ground, popping those minis. There's a natural campfire. He could hit it real quick. He doesn't.
Okay.
No chance for a take, but he finds Shadow and gets the elimination, the victory royale, and a cool little dance move to top it off. Well played, Hornet.
That's the dance I know how to do, sort of. Bro, that was great. So much happened. Like
A lot happened in the last second.
Like technical skill-wise, game sense-wise, knowing how to like get players to do what you want them to do.
Hornet's heads up flick while rotating in the last second to stay alive.
Yes.
Was huge.
Against Smacked?
And
that was insane. Literally jumped over his head,
boom.
180 flicked him.
Made his way the rest of the way in. Well played there.
And you got to think too, that's going to affect Smack's potential
Exactly.
leaderboard setup,
Exactly.
right? Maybe that shuts him down, and maybe that could have been his last game. We don't know how that's going to affect the standings until we take a look later on. Don't forget, there's only the 6 spots here.
Listen, at least Golden
That was
Boy's
insane.
At least Golden Boy is not here to call him smoke, is all I'm saying. JDW feed picking off Complexity's Macwood. 46 players now. That's a very early elimination for the player from Complexity. Sentinel's Animals, 0 eliminations, 63 builds.
This
Some minis,
is...
some Shadow. We're starting to see a trend. Let me just put this out there, and you let me know if you agree or not.
All right.
Consistency across the board for loadouts is typically combat shotgun, an AR of some sort,
Right.
1 or 2 mobility items, and a heal. And
Yes.
if it's not 2 mobility items, it's only 1. I would say potentially 2 heals, and then the last utility slot, if it's not 2 heals, you could say is a heavy sniper or flintlock.
Yes. So
It's
typically
like
we're
every
seeing
single loadout.
pretty much exactly that. So it's either going to be 2, like let's say it's like a rift, some kind of mobility, 2 heals. Sometimes we see people, even if they're lucky to find them along the game, we've seen people with like 6 half shields, right?
Oh, yeah.
2 whole slots dedicated to 3 half shields apiece. And then you're like, oh, this guy just wants to fight the whole time.
I want to make a point, too, so that it's not misconstrued what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that everyone runs the exact same thing all the time because it's the only thing to run. I'm saying people are running the same consistent builds because consistency is huge in a BR game. And if you have a loadout that is consistently showing top performance, players are going to favor it. That's something to take note of if you're trying to step your own game up. Maybe you're not going to make it to this World Cup, but I guarantee you there's going to be events from Epic for Fortnite in the future. This ain't the end, believe me. And so learning those kind of setups and watching how the meta changes as the game evolves. I mean, we're getting updates that change things weekly. So you have players every single time that they're, and this has been, at this point, y'all, if you have not accepted that that is Fortnite, you need to just accept that that's Fortnite. Now, let's all finally settle and say, yes, it is a game that includes an evolution of meta constantly, which means the players are constantly being pushed to try and figure out how to play the next setup the best. And that's good. You want that because I'm gonna be very honest with you. From a spectator side, I feel like potentially a level of staleness would happen if you're like, all right, we're back to a pump shotgun and an SMG to swap to. Pump shotgun, SMG to swap to. I feel like the combat shotgun has created more opportunities for back-to-back-to-back eliminations. You see Fiber going down there to Animal. It's just a situation where the game is trying to evolve in a way that makes it more representative of higher skill players and less representative of this guy is really good at the one thing all the time. You want to see people that can do it all.
Right.
You want the jack of all trades players to shine because they're the ones that have really put in a crazy amount of effort. They have skill, the knowledge to pick up everything about the game that they can as it changes. Sorry, I'm so long-winded about this. I'm very passionate about competitive Fortnite.
Yeah.
It's become such a big piece of what I do and what you do, especially you. I mean, you've been around for a long time.
Just about the beginning. Just about.
Exactly. And so it's like, it's just one of those things I want to see the game evolve and grow in a healthy way. And I know there's some people that are not happy with how the game is now, but you have to at least admit, those people have to at least admit that they're happy with the way that, I mean, an esport has continued to evolve. It has. It's undeniable.
Yeah, sure. And maybe just like expand upon that just a little bit more. Fortnite is an ever-evolving game. And it is a battle royale, and there is some kind of randomness involved in that, right? Like you land in a POI, and there's some form of random.
Well, you can harness that.
Correct, and it's why these players excel is because they can minimize that randomness factor, right? Like you said, their consistency. What can they do to minimize that randomness and give them an edge, which then propels them forward and continues moving forward? Unknown, great example. He knows what he does best. His rifling skills, his combat skills, his long-range shots. He's in a great position to do this, right? He didn't just land on this loadout. He worked for this loadout. He said, where do I need to go? When do I need to fight? Do I need to fight now?
To get it?
Exactly. There's so much. Like, on the surface, Fortnite may seem like, I guess, borderline one-dimensional, kind of, but there's actually so much depth to the game.
I wouldn't even say on the surface it seems that way. You've got building and shooting and strategic positioning.
Yeah,
there's a lot to it.
Elevation, game changes, what you land with, how you're feeling on the day, what your skills like, where you've spent your time. Have you done your shooting practice? Have you gone into playgrounds before then to practice up your building skills? There's so much. This is why I love Fortnite, dude. You're going to make me nerd out, and we're going to have long conversations about this.
This has been Deep Thoughts with Lupo and Zeke. Meanwhile, top 5 situation, my apologies for all that. Unknown from KNG with 6 eliminations. 19 builds. That Rift may or may not come into use here. It's going to be tough to know just yet. TJ, the ultimate low ground. We're already in a top 3. The swap there, Baltic, Dylan, Glow Navy going down outside in the storm. Unknown dropping in and challenging Jayfree, but he actually gets dropped all the way to the bottom. Stuck top to bottom of TJ.
Oh my!
Box, the traps.
Oh my gosh, he completely shuts down Jayfree. But look at the health difference. If he's not careful, dude, and they spend time in the storm, Jayfree has health advantage. He's got to be really careful how he approaches this.
The slurp, though, Unknown could potentially pop it. Should here momentarily, I almost anticipate. Here we go.
Do you think he just waits for him to drop down and try and riffs him and hopes that the slurp is enough to tick him over?
We'll see. Moving with the storm, Jayfree in the ultimate high.
He's still ticking
13. Up. No builds for Unknown. He's going to have to... Yep, there we go. The shots. Combat shotgun from underneath. Can't quite connect.
20.
Does not tick out to the storm. Instead, finds a shot on Jayfree. The celebratory rift to go into the sky. Unknown, well played. No builds left. No problem.
Bro, that was absolutely insane. Sundown, Monster D-Face. Was that not just the craziest end to that?
The most nerve-wracking final hour for Aztec. We saw him finish on 60 points. He was in second place. These last four right here from Aztec to Fernando were all at 60 points. Aztec had the 2 victory royales that pushed him up into 7. Hornet had 1 hit that pushed him up into 8. Trio had 0. Fernando had 0. The difference, average eliminations, average points, all of them average placement. He owned all the time. He had all of them afterwards, was slightly ahead, 3.8 to 2.8, 18 to 3.6, and the average point 7.5 to 6.0. Talk about every interaction mattering. Well, all the tiny little ones and the differences add up. Congratulations to all 6 of the final ones joining us at the Fortnite World Cup final from NA East. But that could be something fun to stick with.
Absolutely is. And there is, that's one.
Cosmic up there on the board in first. Tuesday in second. Go ahead, Moss. You
I've got this guy too right here, man. Legendian. He made it.
Aspect as well. That must have been. Oh, wait. It's Luca. We've been over this before.
You sure you want to... Are you sure? This guy, man.
He tried his best. It's all right. They talk about his snipes, but not about his ability to punch tickets. Trio in the last spot. Lazarus will have a member at the Fortnite World Cup final again. Congratulations. But you can see out of the 19 spots up here, only 17 have been filled. We have 2 more for you coming out of NA West. But for now, we're going to go on a quick, well, not so quick. We're going to go on a 30-minute break in between the regions. Go walk your dog, get some water, get a nice little meal in you, because when we come back, the rest of the NA West matches in the final 2 spots will be pumped for the solos competition for the Fortnite World Cup final. We'll be right back.
A preta? Não é minha essa aí? Certeza. A jeans? Então eu vou.